welcome to InDesign, where everything comes together. Just like a chef would never use a spatula for measuring, a well-rounded designer will use the right tools for the job, which includes Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. Now, InDesign is like the cookie sheet of all three. It's where you can lay out your finished product and bake it into any number of digital products, multi-page products, such as books, ebooks, newsletters, brochures. The sky is actually the limit on what you can create here, using ingredients from Photoshop and Illustrator. The powerhouse of design is text. So if Photoshop is photos, Illustrators is illustrations, graphics, then InDesign is text. And also it's where it all comes together. And I almost wonder if the name stems from that word inline, where an image or a graphic is in line with the text. That is InDesign. So I'm very excited to introduce you to it. And I have a feeling you're already going to know your way around this kitchen because it's very similar to Illustrator because they're both vector-based programs. So let me just show you, before you cut out any cookies, let me show you some of the settings in the oven. The first thing I would recommend if you're just starting is to come up here to Window, Workspace, and then click on Essentials Classic. If that doesn't take effect, you may need to click Reset Essentials Classic. Now, this option gives you the control bar up here at the top. And then another panel I like to open is Properties, very similar to Illustrator because it's responsive, tool responsive. And then I combine it all together and I click the double arrow here so that I can easily jump around. Then you'll notice you have a toolbar here on the left, and I like to click the double arrow at the top so that all my tools are just at the kind of towards the top in two rows instead of one. So those are the initial setup action items I would recommend. And now let's jump over here to the next page, which is the time-saving tools. So this is, I would like to teach you just a few of the ways that InDesign is different than Illustrator so you can start appreciating its talents and what it has to offer you when it comes to design. But the very first thing is it has built-in page numbering and margins. Like you see this example down here. This is found in the page setup, the project setup dialog box. You won't find that in Illustrator, the opportunity to set your margins. You can create margins in Illustrator, but just takes some extra steps. Whereas here, just automatic. So anything that has to do with type and multi-page layouts, you will find in Illustrator, InDesign, excuse me. Well, we're going to be all mixed up by the time we finish. It also has like a master page function. So you see over here in the Pages panel in the top right, anything below this line is my actual document, which will print or digitally print. Anything above it is reference. And you can actually have multiple master pages, which essentially are just templates that you can pull down into your design and then alternate, change only what you want to change. Think of if you were creating a planner. There's a lot of rework you would not want to do, or copying and pasting that you would not want to do on every single page. But there are certain things you would need to change about each page, such as adding the holidays or maybe the specific dates. So that's where the master page template comes in. It's called master page function, but it's essentially a template. Super useful. You can create interactive PDF files here. So anything that's PDF, if it's going to PDF, it would be great to start in InDesign. Now, I clicked W here to get in away from the print preview mode, and you see this little orange dot, looks like an hourglass. I'm going to select my text tool T, which is the same as Illustrator, and then come over here to the hourglass and double click on that. And you'll notice it opens up the note. If you were writing an ebook and you needed someone to edit it, wouldn't this be a really useful feature where they could put their note exactly on the word that they want to comment on. And then you can easily delete the notes. Now, those do not show up in your print preview. So you notice if I click W, this is my print preview, you're not seeing those notes. And then everything has a frame in InDesign. Now, this is a kind of a carryover concept from Illustrator. Let me show you how. You've noticed vectors. You're used to those from Illustrator, and those are, when I click W for my print preview, you do see those. Now, the text frames, which is also from Illustrator, you don't see those when you click on the print preview. You only see the text. The frame is meant to show the area that's been set aside for that text, and at what point the text will start disappearing if you don't expand the area. Now, the difference between text boxes in InDesign and Illustrator is you will see this little O down here. That's how you know it's a text box in InDesign. And then also, you'll notice these extra, over here on the left, you see the corner box, one down. This indicates where the text starts within the text box. And then the one in the bottom right here, just above this corner, that indicates where the text leaves the text box, because we read left to right. So that is your introduction to a text frame. Now, graphics frame. This is new, and it's indicated by a crossbar. Now, there's a tool over here in the toolbar. Let's move this over slightly. And it looks similar to your shape tools, except it has the X, the crossbar in the middle, rectangle, ellipse, and polygon. And it's very similar to Illustrator. So like if you want to do a polygon, if you click the Option or Alt, if you're on Windows, it allows you to create additional points and change and alternate the shape before you draw it. But essentially the graphics frame is saying this is where this is the max area. This is the designated area for this graphic. So let me show you. So I'm going to select my V, which is the direct select tool. I'm going to select the graphics frame, and then I am going to do File and then Place. Now we need to find one of these. Let's find an image. Okay, here's our cookie image. Now you'll notice that image was obviously a lot larger than this graphics frame box that I have, and so it only grabbed, it's only showing me a little peek. But if I double click within here, I can move, say I just want the picture of the cookie, I can move that there. Now if I zoom out, you see this orange, the orange boxes always represent the actual image. So you can shrink that if you like, holding Shift down to keep everything proportionate. You can eventually get down to the entire picture if you want, but there's a faster way. Let me show you. Since this is really one of the main differences and perhaps frustrations if you're moving from Illustrator to InDesign. So let's say we want to insert that picture of the cookie, and we don't want to have, maybe we want the whole thing. And we don't want to have to mess with resizing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm clicking away from everything. So nothing is selected. I click File and then Place. Let's find the same design. Here it is, and click Open. Now you'll notice my cursor changed to the actual image. That's because it hasn't placed yet. It's saying, hey, we're about to put this picture in. Where do you want it? Draw the frame that you want right now for it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold Shift down so it's proportionate. And there it is. The entire image pops in. I just let go of Shift and my cursor. So that's your brief introduction to working with images within InDesign. It's a really cool feature. It's quick once you get to know how to use it. And my last tip and introduction is anytime you are learning a new software, this is what I do. I go to one of three places, and often all three. I visit Google, YouTube, and Adobe Help X specifically. But there's so much information out there, it's way too much to absorb all at once, right? So that's why you need a purpose. You need a project, and the best thing you can do is just get started. And then go as far as you can till you hit a roadblock, Even if it's at the very beginning, maybe you want to import an image and it's just not working, or you're not quite sure how to do it, that's what you search. That will enable you to learn, and next time you won't have to research that one specific thing because you'll already know it, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you can master this program, which will give you creative freedom. So that's your brief introduction to InDesign. I hope it was helpful. Happy baking. I am sure that your future designs will be delicious. Take care.